this edition of Inside the Author's Studio, we're going to be talking about superheroes, and we're going to answer the question on how superheroes have remained so popular through so many generations. When you read a comic book or graphic novel for the first time, it's in the way you relate to the characters that keeps you invested in their stories. This is true of any great character, but superheroes hold a special appeal. People are drawn to superheroes because they are a source of encouragement. The biggest names in comics are heroic, using their special abilities to fight evil and save the day. The reader seeks to find themselves in the pages and relates to their chosen hero, especially because most of the superheroes aren't without flaws themselves. Someone like Spider-Man is especially appealing because when he takes off his mask, he's just an average guy. There's a sense of, if Spider-Man can take on the Green Goblin, then I can go out for that job. So what makes superheroes so compelling? Why are we drawn to them with such love and admiration? Maybe we love superheroes because we see what could be for ourselves. For the most part, they're regular people like us with just that little something extra to set them apart. We sit back and watch or read about them performing these heroic feats, and we wonder what it would be like if we were them. If only we could tap into our own powers the way they do, we could be heroes too. Even the most far out there superhero tale still captures the essential truths about human nature with the dilemmas the heroes face. That's one of the reasons why so many people like superhero stories. We resonate with the themes maybe more than the superhero themselves. Take the X-Men, for example. Their stories have a theme of segregation and isolation threaded throughout the comics and into the movies. They're called mutants because they are different. People fear them, hate them even. But despite all of that, the X-Men themselves go after worthy pursuits, one of which being the schooling and education of new mutants. They use their own gifts to educate the younger generation on how their differences make them special. Seeing all the amazing things the X-Men do with their superpowers creates a sense of hope for their students and for the audience the comic heroes relate to. The story of Superman is also one that draws parallels to what we as mere mortals face in our lives. Superman is an outsider trying to fit in as best he can in a world very different than his home. He hides his identity and only shows his powers when he needs to. Even then, it's under the guise of someone else for fear of repercussion. In fact, a lot of the superheroes have an alter ego when they're displaying their powers. They have a fear of what the reaction will be if others knew they had these abilities, so they keep their special powers to themselves. How many of us do the same with our gifts? Over the years, as different storytellers lend their hand to the comic book world, there have been many super births. It's now a world where anyone can find a hero that resonates with them. In the comics and graphic novels, the dilemmas and problems that superheroes face are reflective of our own. Now, we may never face aliens from other planets or have the ability to manipulate time, but our struggles are mirrored in those events regardless. We identify with the hero's noble impulses to take action, and we aspire to be like that in our own lives. Superheroes are models for us because they are modeled after us. For all their super traits, they're still flawed and they make mistakes. How many times have you heard one of your favorite heroes grumble that it's all their fault when something terrible goes down? They feel guilt and regret, but they learn from their mistakes and don't let their inherent flaws hold them back from their true course. And because they press on in spite of these hurdles, they give us an example of idealistic behavior and inspire us to be our best selves. In essence, they give us hope. Superman even wears a representation of it on his chest. Plus, superheroes are just really cool. There's no denying that their cool costumes and amazing powers have created a whirlwind of excitement around the world. Once the fabled heroes started popping up on the big screen in movie theaters, they became even more larger than life. Thanks to CGI and stunt doubles, the action and adventure is astonishing, as if the pages of the comic book came true before our very eyes. Young kids, and the little kids inside of us, suddenly have something tangible to see and reach for. Even if they're in space or an alternate universe, it doesn't matter because it's the hero that we gravitate to. In a world going 100 miles an hour, with atrocities and sadness bombarding the evening news, superhero stories are a way to escape the demands of reality for a while. There's a security in these characters that makes us know they're going to save the day, no matter how intense the bad guy is or how grave the situation may seem. They're also a firm reminder that though superheroes might not exist in the real world, heroes do. In the worn threads and fabric of our universe, there are people willing to risk their lives for the greater good. There are those with courage, nobility, and a sense of morality that makes them stand tall in the face of great risk. So we don't have to look too far to find a superhero to emulate. You could even start by looking in the mirror.